The Voices of Crown Heights project is a multi-year oral history project that we began last year. As many of you may know, last year marked 25 years since what became known as the Crown Heights riot of August 1991. Unrest, disturbance, crisis. There are many different ways that people have referred to that. Crown Heights right now is one of Brooklyn's fastest changing neighborhoods. And so we thought with this project to look at the history of Crown Heights beyond this one incident in 1991, for listening for a broader history. In this, we've had two community-based partners. One is Weeksville Heritage Center, and I want to acknowledge Tia Harris-Powell, or is it Powell-Harris? Tia Powell-Harris. Everyone's messing up names today. Tia Powell-Harris, the director of Weeksville, who's been an incredible partner with us on this project. The other community-based organization is Brooklyn Movement Center, which serves Central Brooklyn, that has also been a partner. And with this project, we've looked at different themes: community education, policing and community safety, and housing and neighborhood change and community relations. And so each of our partners collected some oral histories. They did listening sessions like this one. They had a forum. And so it's now our turn to have a listening session, which you're here for. And in July, on July 18th, we'll have our forum, and that is going to be a panel, a more standard panel, moderated by MSNBC's Joyanne Reed, who is also a Crown Heights resident. And you can get all of the details about the project on this website address, brooklynhistory.org/projects/oral history. Just one more note about the podcast that Marcia helped us plug. So Flatbush in Maine is our monthly podcast. I am one of the co-hosts. And in the episode 5, which was August of last year, we had an episode dedicated to Crown Heights. It was called Who's Crown Heights? So I encourage you, there are multiple ways to access the podcast. If you're not familiar with like podcast apps and all of that, you don't even need to do all of that. I encourage you to check out our podcast. Our last episode from this May was called Malcolm X in Brooklyn. And our upcoming episode for this month is going to focus on our new location, BHS Dumbo, down on the waterfront. So check out our podcast. And with that, I am going to hand over the mic to Amaka, who is going to kind of walk you through how the evening is going to proceed.
Welcome everyone. I'm very happy to see all of you here today. So as you notice, the setup is a little bit different than if you've attended a BHS program before. So I'm going to sort of lay out our program here today. So we're listening to oral history clips. And so the first track that we'll listen to is going to be comprised of clips from oral histories collected from this Voices of Crown Heights oral history project. Note that these are clips, right? So these are not the full oral histories. Note that many of our narrators, people that were interviewed for this project, may be sitting at your table. So just keep that in mind in the discussion. While you're listening, you have the option of reviewing the transcript, which is on the table. You can close your eyes. You can write down your thoughts. There are pencils and scratch paper on the papers or on the tables, so feel free to distribute that amongst your group members. Do whatever you need to focus and listen. And Zaheer is going to talk more about the listening process. And so you're going to listen to a track. You're going to have a short, small group discussion, and that's going to happen 2 more times. You're going to listen to another track, and then a small group discussion, another track, and a small group discussion. Your small group discussions will be led by some discussion questions, which are located in the transcript. We will also announce them at each point. So we'll be keeping time. Don't worry about having to keep track of time. We can do that. After the last group discussion, we will kind of convene as a group and have a little audience talk back so you can share out maybe some of the discussions, some of the themes that came up in your group discussions. At the conclusion of the program, we'd love if you could fill out evaluations. They're on your chairs when you came in. This is the first time that Brooklyn Historical Society has embarked on this kind of partnership, and so we really want to hear your feedback about this event. If it worked for you, if it didn't work for you, just let us know. So please fill out the evaluation. It's double-sided, and you can turn that evaluation in over here on your left-hand side in this, at this white table. There's a basket where you can just drop that evaluation in on your way out. The discussion questions for this segment are, based on these voices of Crown Heights, how do everyday places become significant to neighborhood character and identity? And how have neighborhood places shaped your experience of community?
Clearly, gentrification has continued to spiral. And it also seems like maybe part of the homeowner class of original residents have left and sold their homes. So there's like some different class shifts happening among the people who were there before folks like myself. So going back to how have places shaped your experience? I'm a single working person and like a consumer, and I just buy a bunch of shit. And really it seems like the neighborhood is just like a bunch of commodities for people like myself. And she said that she missed the old shops that had like decent stuff that she found useful. And my experience has been a mixture of being mortified by how stupid some of the stuff I open is. And also, I go there every day.
I heard it wasn't that good, but I don't know.
I go there every day.
Okay.
I go to Connecticut
There's
Muffin.
a Connecticut Muffin
Every
in
day.
Crown Heights.
And when they
It's
opened
kind
it,
of bizarre.
when they opened it at first, I was like, this is absurd. This is the
being
stupidest
Crown
thing
Heights.
ever. But it's a combination of being mortified by how stupid some of the stuff there is and how it really, it's not there to serve the community. And there's not even like a give and take. It's just like, buy this stuff.
And as wealth, the levels of wealth change, it does affect the dynamics of a community in multiple ways.
But the levels of wealth, like, were different. It wasn't just like a poor and working class neighborhood. It was a mix. It's always been a mix. And before, like in the 40s, I mean, as far as I know, like in the 30s and 40s, actually like really upper class. So I think it's more like about, I think it's like about accelerated change and people coming from different places to make money off of the place rather than like the Chabad community that they're, you know, this is so interesting, like the Chabad community, it's like they came there because their Rebbe said, this is the new spiritual center of our life, Crown Heights.
We'll be listening to the next track in 1 minute, so you have 1 minute to kind of wind down your very lively, wonderfully lively conversations.
For you know, their community, for people in their community, because they love their community, like they love their community, and probably to the exclusion of other communities or not, I don't know, but regardless, I think that like that's what Esmeralda Simmons is talking about, like what those communities had in common at that time is like an investment not purely about profit. An investment that's also, it is about profit, obviously, but also about, like, you know, love of love, you know.
I think one of the characteristics, though, also is that community is obliged to focus somewhat inward due to the religious orthodoxy and in the sense of, you know, kosher and what have you.
Neighborhoods to me are made up of people first, and then the things that tie us together, the the churches, the stores, the playgrounds, or the lack of green spaces, the width of streets, whether or not there's buses or subway, and for me, the greenery in the area. So Crown Heights was quiet. It was a quiet community where people went about their business. It was middle class. Northern part, some of it was a lower class. There are some housing projects in the north part of Crown Heights, and southern Crown Heights is mostly middle class. And people, homeowners or renters, generally would be going about their business, working in a neighborhood or, somewhere not too far, or maybe even working in Manhattan, going to Manhattan. But it was quiet. People were just trying to bring up families. There's a lot of children, like family integrated neighborhood in a couple of streets in southern Crown Heights. We were like the second black family on the block, so I had a very integration-y type of experience. But at the same time, while we integrated some streets in southern Crown Heights, there were areas in northern Crown Heights that were historically black, and obviously there was Leaksville as well, and that's further to the east.
What stood out to me about that whole passage was how in very residential neighborhoods with a lot of history like this in New York that are kind of more on the outskirts, you can have this sense of ownership for your community in a way that you can't in like more developed and more dense areas of the city. And so this is like the most residential area I've ever lived in New York. And you do see these like mom and pop stores still, and everyone has their own special place that isn't necessarily like your favorite restaurant or your favorite store. It's like something as small as like a park bench or like a tree in this case. And so that really resonated with me for that reason. I don't know if that's what you're kind of getting at, but it feels like a special place where you can have those more intimate connections with your urban environment. You felt that?
Yeah, everyone sort of mentioned like a specific place or item, like you said, the peace zone or the willow tree or the like food store or stores, who was a couple, but that kind of made the neighborhood what it meant to them.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting is that when Richard Green was speaking about the peace zone, so in my mind the peace zone is it's a transient thing. It's not real. It's an idea. It's a concept. And when it was moved, people reacted like the peace is gone. No, the peace is. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. I think what you were saying about the willow tree was like, especially when you said it was so gorgeous, it's sort of like this idea of like, it's not about the tree, it's about thinking about how there was a point in time where there was like, just the whole experience was so gorgeous. Yeah.
They'll just look at you and they'll say, is it, locks on pumpernickel or, whatever it is. They kind of know that what your order is before you even get there.
Now, funny enough, I had that at Pan Quotidienne when I worked with an older woman who lives in the village, and I go in and they know 2 large coffees and how many croissants do you want today. And it's sort of like Cheers. Again, you're probably too young to remember, but I do remember Cheers. Where everybody knows your name, everyone knows your order. Knows your order. And
That's right. So, and then how have neighborhood places shaped your experience of the community? Well, we kind of jumped into that without even being prompted. That's what we've exactly been talking about, is how places that we go to routinely, if they already know my order before I get there, I feel like, I'm a regular. This is my neighborhood.
And where did you
I grew up in St. Louis, but I've been here for 30 years. She's a New Yorker.
I'm actually a native Manhattan to Washington Heights to Brooklyn Heights. I'm actually.
But you've been in this neighborhood a long time.
I've been in this neighborhood since '71. Yeah.
And what about where you grew up and what it's like now? What about
I haven't gone back. I know that my parents moved out of there because there was a real drug trafficking thing that occurred when, this is such a terrible generalization, but when the Dominican community
took root. You know, there was a lot of cocaine dealing back then, and actually they moved to the Upper West Side for different reasons. They moved into a facility that had some services. And my father was starting to show signs of dementia. My mother had the forethought to realize that to be in Upper Manhattan and for her to have to do the food shopping and walk it up a couple flights, you know, it was time for them to move into a setting where there might be some services provided. And that was a long time ago, and that worked out really well.
Do you live right around here?
I'm Pierpont Street. 2 blocks down.
I mean,
Debbie is in half a block down.
Yeah. I mean, we both live right on the street. So what are some places here that you
Oh, every time a bookstore closes, I'm very sad. We've had those close in the neighborhood way too often.
And Zaheer's on Atlantic, wonderful food.
If that ever leaves, I will be very sad. That would be very sad.
But when I moved in here, there were menus, there were these jewelry shops, you know, that had this unique quality. There were small bookstores and health food places. And it is really a shame. I mean, if we get one more realtor in this neighborhood, you know, it's just really...
I would say one of the defining things of our neighborhood is the promenade.
Yeah.
And the promenade has, over the last, 15 years, been gardened so beautifully by the Parks Department that now I don't think a day goes by if we walk on the promenade that I don't make some comment about one of the plants, no matter what season it is. Now, right now, and one of the jokes that we have is that if the plants are growing through the fence, the iron fence, I say it looks like they're trying to make an escape. Yeah. Like the plants are making a run for it, you know? And so we always comment on this, even in the wintertime. Yeah. Because there'll be people in there doing something with the plants in the wintertime, and in the fall, some of the leaves turn colors. So if anything happened to the plants on the promenade, we would be very sad.
And I have to say, all that new construction, you know, when you walk across the Brooklyn Bridge and they started putting up these mega constructions that blocked
the big buildings.
That was so heartbreaking. And to walk down around Brooklyn Bridge Park, the good news is there's kayaking, athletic events, and food stores and all that. But those
there's now a hotel.
Buildings that have gone up are so, in my opinion, offensive and block the view. And it's so. I was really heartbroken when those buildings
right, but the positive side of the Brooklyn Bridge Park is they built these great big huge mounds and they planted grass on them, and then they brought goats in to eat the grass.
Did you see that? It was
so now every day we look for the goats, and the goats aren't there anymore. We're like, we're so sad there's no more goats. We saw them last summer. We saw them routinely. Yeah. And now we haven't seen them for over a year.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge Park is very special. It is.
And all of Brooklyn does come there, I think.
It's really, I get a nice Brooklyn feeling when I'm in that park. But yeah, I agree. I wonder what's going to happen with all that new construction there.
Exactly, it's real. And barge music is still the world's best kept secret.
The questions, as you've heard from these excerpts, focus on different kinds of relationships. And so the two discussion questions are, what does it mean to be a neighbor? And we don't mean just next door neighbor, but what does it mean to be part of a neighborhood? And secondly, what kinds of relationships shape your experience of community? So we'll start the clock and give you about 15 minutes to reflect on these excerpts and think about these questions.
You feel responsible for each other. Like where I lived all my life. My parents lived there before they had my older sister. We still live in the same block. They moved down south and I have to apartment now. And so I've seen generations grow up. And I feel like you feel responsible for one another. If you see a guy that you knew growing up, he was so innocent and little, and then now he's like hanging out in the corner, you're like, what's wrong with you? You're so smart. Why are you doing that? Or like someone graduates from college and like, oh man, so keep going. Or like, you know, that drunk person in the corner is not just a drunk person. Like, oh my God, isn't that someone's uncle? You know, pick him up. Like, or in this trash. And like, people are so crazy, pick up the trash, you know. Like, so you feel responsible for your community because you own it. It's a part of you. And so to put a blind eye is like putting a blind eye on yourself, you know, because you're a reflection of that community. You feel responsible for it. You're in this together. And I feel like that's what it means to be a neighbor. You have that connection. You're my brother. I'm your brother's keeper. They're my brother's keeper. You know what I'm saying? I'm your, and so just puts a sense of responsibility for one another.
I forgot who it was that brought it up, but that, it would be awkward now to just grab somebody else's kid's hand and be like, stop doing that, I'm going to take you back to your mother. But that's like how I grew up, I think, and like what you said about walking down the street with a blind eye, it's kind of just what I was talking about before, about like, they said that when people come here to Crown Heights and they move in, like they walk down the street with like blinders on, like they don't say hello to the guy sitting on the corner, like having that communal conversation. So it literally takes the element out of there's no like engagement in the already existing community that's there. So they'd like to take an active part in it, whether it's like saying hello or telling that little child he should not be breaking that glass in the front of that person's house. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I will tell your mom and your grandma, and you will get it from everybody.
It was interesting that the first woman talked about the like non-intimate relationship with a neighbor, but like they still communicated. And as I was listening, like I thought like, whoa, that's actually like a decent interaction with a neighbor for today. So it's interesting to see like how that has shifted over time.
Yeah.
And like what is intimate versus what is non-personal, like just somewhat impersonal, and then what is just like no interaction at all.
Yeah, like it's not even like that was just a neighbor she saw in passing, like, like she went into that woman's home.
Right.
And there's still such a disconnect in that relationship.
The first one kind of made me sad. She was saying like, it can't be an intimate relationship with millions of miles.
Yeah.
It made me feel sad.
I mean, it felt like an intimate relationship, like sharing in the grief, like.
I didn't know whether they were different races until the very end, because they didn't say it. And so I was wondering, are they a different race? And then she said, well, they could never be friends. So that was the only reason that we could do it.
She had to go to the precinct to get in her book, because on the Sabbath they closed off all of them. Wow. And she lived 736 Eastern Parkway, and she couldn't get in. Okay? They've lightened up now. So this was so, okay?
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I was friendly with the woman next door because I used to turn off the lights for her.
I know, I was going to say, that's what...
I wasn't even supposed to do that, they said, but she was just turn off my lights, When the Sabbath begins.
Did you feel like you could have a friendship with her?
No, people in the store and they're friendly with the lady, but it wasn't any real.
Did you have relationships that were not fraught? Like, were they neutral, or were all of them?
We might say hello, but we weren't friends. It was like a single woman maybe next door, and she just did that to one. There wasn't anyone friend, and I don't think they were allowed to.
You didn't think they were
allowed to? They just didn't mix. I'm talking about the relatives, and stuff. And there was always forget about the Crown Heights riots.
Before the riots.
What riots? I never understand why they say riots. It's so exaggerated.
Really? They were saying earlier tonight that it's the 25th anniversary of the riots.
It's 1991. So we had it last year.
Okay.
But a riot to me means like it's constant fighting. You can't walk. They didn't stop traffic on Eastern Parkway. They didn't stop the buses. I walked through one night. You just walked. So we wanted to see whether they lived or died.
Yeah.
It wasn't a constant riot. Two people didn't get it yet. But it wasn't fighting. It's not why they labeled it riot.
You think it's an exaggeration?
Yes. I mean, they riot. There was a problem, but it wasn't a riot. The riot to me is fighting.
Yeah.
And you can't be in the streets. I always have a problem whenever people talk about riots.
Okay, so the question, what does it mean to be a neighbor? And what kind of relationship shape your experience of community? To me, it's like the factors make it impossible to be a real neighbor. these factors.
In these types of stories.
Right. Yeah.
Like being in a religious group like that is so insular.
Right. Like how can you be a neighbor? To me, you can't be. And that's a what's the word for it? That's a brick wall or the barrier. How do you? They're barriers that you just can't tear
Because
down.
they're unto themselves. They don't really mingle.
Yeah. I mean, I've had that experience, and I'm Jewish, I'm not very religious, but I had that experience even when I was living in Greenpoint, and I would go into South Williamsburg, would have these very sort of strange experiences and feel like so alienated. We're actually the same religion as me, but they didn't even think of me.
Yeah, they don't think so. It's like
So it's even, I mean, I'm sure that the racial element adds like a whole other layer, like I'm not even comparing it, but
they
it's
don't
not
think you're
just
Jewish.
that.
Yeah.
Everyone else, in my experience, has been that everyone else is sort of other. Their lives are so particular and insulated.
I also am Jewish, and I lived in Williamsburg, and I used to go to this the New York City Parks Department public pool, and I would go swimming there all the time. And it just so happened that like the times when I would go during like the women's swim, and it was always me and like 15 Hasidic women and children, and it was so uncomfortable. And I also had a similar thing where I wanted to like, I know it doesn't matter, but like they don't, if you're not Hasidic, like they don't think that you're a real Jew or whatever.
Uncomfortable, to be clear, because they didn't like you.
Yeah. So no, that I wasn't. So I took a shower. So I would go after I went swimming. I would go take a shower, and I would take off my bathing suit in the shower because like the gym, you're allowed to do that, and they would just like run, like they would run away from me, and so I would always end up showering alone. And I was like, okay. Sorry. I mean,
word challenge just keeps coming up. Remember that restaurant? So in our neighborhood, a restaurant. Yeah,
my building.
On the corner of your block.
Yeah, and I believe it was a Hasidic owned or Hasidic owned, Hasidic freaking on Fifth Avenue, Fifth Street, Park Slope. Not a Hasidic neighborhood. There's a Hasidic restaurant pops up. I'm a food professional. So I like to at night I go out and I'll eat alone, and work at a table or a bar area, whatever. And I just remember this really got to me because I was raised to be like, we are the world, we are the children. I had like an Italian uncle, a Cuban. I had all these UN and relatives. Where did you grow up? I grew up in South Jersey near army bases that had a lot of kids who were part Japanese and white or black and German and black. And everybody was mixed. And then my own family, there were like Dorian great grandfather. The point is like, and my friends always tease me that I was raised to be very open and connected. And this was such a challenge for me, and still a challenge, because I resented the fact that as a single woman in my neighborhood, I was not welcome to go into this restaurant to eat, to drink anything, to sit down. I would be treated, a certain way as a single woman, as a black person, as a non-Jewish person, as a and one of my friends was like, "This is not like you." Like she couldn't believe I couldn't just be cool about it. Like I was like, no. Right. I was like, this is wrong. Like why? This is not fair. How can someone? That's fine if you want to have rules in your world, but when it spills over, like I didn't know how to process that.
What was your experience when you went into the restaurant?
It was clear I wasn't welcome.
Really?
Yeah. And I
From the very beginning.
Just the attitude towards you, or like
it's hard to explain.
just like a feeling that you got?
And I wasn't comfortable. There was no point. There were a million other places. Right.
It just like wasn't
I would have
hospitable.
been silly, probably to go there. You know what I mean? I was warned. I was warned by other people, like, you shouldn't go there. And it's just like, what do you do with that information? Like, you know what I mean? Is it okay? I'm respectful of other people's cultures and religions, but when it is designed to not, when it's a one-way street,
Right. Yeah. It's sort of like, it has to go both ways.
I really have a hard, and then I'm going to be honest, the respect, I don't have it. I'm not disrespectful, I don't do anything, but I really have a hard time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because they're not going to be welcoming.
You know, if you grow up in the same neighborhood, or you're living in the same neighborhood, or you're living right next to each other, but to me, the different levels of income, like I feel like it's harder to be neighbors. And that's partially just based on what we've seen here, but I'm just thinking about the lived experience of it. Like,
That is kind of the basis of gentrification anyway. Like, geography itself is actually being formed based on the influx of money among certain population. That's how it begins, and then starts with the organic changes. But
I also imagine that just by nature of where you're located, there's so much commonality. The fact that we live in the same community, some of our concerns about that community come across, and I feel like that came across in some of these excerpts as well, that we care about safety, we care about the prices of our homes. Those are things that will draw us together, and as a community, we're still neighbors in that regard. And so you making more money than I make is not a reason that we still can't be neighborly and,
like the last paragraph actually summarizes a good point there too, like how this person just by being able to see this kid grow from a young age to an older age, that in and of itself made her feel very connected to this neighborhood, to this kid's narrative, and I don't think they have really anything in common except that this kid's been around this person for a while, and
they've grown together. They've learned to develop a relationship. But I mean, but to me, the other side of it is
1 minute. 1 minute, if you can wind down your conversations in the next 60 seconds.
The other side of it is you've got all these different racial or ethnic groups that couldn't get along. And they probably weren't making about it. And to somebody else's point in one of these, it's also about perspective, right? So, this guy was talking about if you're Hasidic versus not Hasidic. So you can make the same amount of money, but if your perspectives don't align, yeah, you share this physical space, but if your perspectives don't align, you're not neighbors. So how do you get that to happen? And I think that might be what that lady was saying about we're worlds apart. Like,
that we do have a lot in common, but yet still, we don't.
We don't share perspective on some basic level, and so we're not
So the discussion questions for this portion are, how have you experienced changes in your neighborhood, and how are people responding to these changes?
We lived on Franklin and D Street, Franklin Avenue, D Street. So there was a shuttle going up Franklin Avenue, and right below it, it wasn't as pretty and as well maintained as it is now. So right below that was the little barbecue spot. It's like this little shack, so that you get pork rinds or whatever barbecue, and they serve you white bread, a slice of white bread. So that's how you know it's legit. Yeah. So, a block down. Oh, first of all, actually, I'm just remembering this. There were packs of dogs that were rolling around our neighborhood. I don't know if it was throughout Brooklyn, but it was insane. You got 12 dogs, 20 dogs just roaming around. And then down there by where Bedford and Rogers met, there's that triangle, and I can't remember. It's a man on a horse. I think he was in the military, probably cavalry. I can't remember his name, but that triangle was bare concrete when I was growing up there. Then when I went back to the neighborhood, we went to a funeral home in the neighborhood where my father was taken care of, and we drove by. I think I had a rental car, and we drove by, and I was my brother was with me, my sisters were with me, and I'm like, do you see them? Do you see this? It's flowers around the triangle, pretty flowers, and the little gates that they go around. It's wow. Then we drove around our old neighborhood. We saw a sushi place where it was it was in like this apartment building that we used to live across the street from. Like I said, there were the warehouses were converted into what looked like condos with solar panels on the roof. Like the little stores, like the hardware store was gone, the beauty parlor was gone. I think the bodega was still there. I'm not sure if the same guys ran it. We didn't stop to check. Yeah, it was like really odd. And I still, one day I'm gonna go down to where my public school was, just to go around and see what it's like, just to see how it's changed. So it's it was really, it irritates you because like how come we didn't get these things when we were there? We were there for longer, and which is also a problem because people think, oh, this is your neighborhood, it's your neighborhood, but if you don't own property, it's not your neighborhood, really. You know, I mean, you live there.
Yeah. Do you feel that way though? I mean, to me, property ownership and who creates a neighborhood are very different things.
But if someone can raise the rents on you and you have to leave, it's not your neighborhood. I mean, you live there, you grew up there, but it's not, unless you own property and you can't be forced out, as long as you're taking care of your property taxes, you're maintaining the home, it's your neighborhood at that point, to me. I mean, I feel like I want to agree with you, but
yeah.
If you can be forced out, it's not really your neighborhood.
I think there's a difference between a house and a home. And
Right.
I think that changes when you're pushed out by force.
Yeah, like
strong tenant protections to change that, and there are some in New York that it's profound ownership.
Yeah, that was in Crown Heights, and even when cause I lived there until I was 16, then my parents moved to another apartment in the like Bushwick area, where near Broadway Junction. So I lived there for about 10 years, and my brother now lives in my parents' apartment after they passed. And there were I think there were newspaper stories about people on the block that actually own their homes, African Americans owning their homes, and developers will pay you like $1 million, $2 million. It's like, no, we're not selling it. And they keep coming, offering them money. It's like, no, we're not selling this. This is my home. And even stories about I think I came here. No, it was my brother telling me the story. So there was a fire on the block, and the fire department. Yeah, this was on Rockaway Avenue.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, not Rockaway, Bainbridge Street and Rockaway Avenue. So the fire department came, put out the fire, but the homeowner said, hey, it wasn't really a major fire, so can you not destroy the roof? Because the fire department was going to cave in the roof to vent the gases or whatever to make the fire go out quicker.
Talk about vandalism. I mean, the way that fire departments deal with houses.
But this is what my brother told me, and I kind of knew, but I didn't know the extent of it. He said that a lot of these fire department, people who work in the fire department, they have side gigs as contractors. So they'll destroy your home, then come back and offer to fix it for you. So I knew they did side jobs. I didn't know it was that nefarious. You know, so it's like, even if you're doing everything you're supposed to do, if you have some kind of like emergency, like the fire or flood or whatever, people will come and exploit you on top of that. So like it's stacked against you. You know, if you're, you know.
Baltimore is definitely headed in that same direction. I mean, there's a spot that I used to work in. There's an after-school program, and I worked there for 5 years. And in those 5 years, I've seen the neighborhood drastically change. There used to be a community center. There used to be people that were grown, they lived in Baltimore all their life. Over the years, I saw houses getting boarded up, and just being a flux of people coming in and out. And now it's a completely different neighborhood. Under Armour and Hopkins have taken over the city and really bought out new centers. There's a mall, like a marketplace that is not made for people that were in the food that you see that's coming into the city. It's not made for Baltimore that's created this history. It's appeasing this completely different population. It's really, really good.
You guys end up in Kensington and south of the park. What did you guys choose there?
We were at Dean Street till I was 16, moved to Bushwick until I was 26. I was still living with my parents, so I got my first apartment. It was in Clinton Hill, in Green Avenue. I loved that neighborhood, man. The neighborhood was so awesome. And that was another weird thing. I remember them building those condos on Washington Avenue, and the minimum, like it was like a studio was going for like $500,000, and that's like cheap compared to what I've seen in other places.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, so that was interesting. I love that neighborhood. Then I moved into Bed-Stuy, moved on to Truth and Madison. It was okay.
What year is it?
Actually, this was like 2008.
Yeah, so it's so interesting. Yeah, continue.
Reverts to the church alone, and the church owns that property. So
they own that.
The apartment, yeah. So they brand new. So that kind of counters that the church people can't live in the neighborhood because they're at least ensuring that their seniors will be there for a while, unless they are forced to sell. I don't know.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
There's the church that I went to as a child was closed. Had to sell. It's now a homeless shelter, which I guess is like somewhat appropriate, like
Service.
Yeah,
What
but
happened
it's
to
not.
the church, like to the community?
She's gone. My mom goes to another church now because we're Catholic, or she's Catholic. But yeah, so she goes now to a different Catholic church down Nostrand. Like Nostrand and Lefferts.
So rare. I rarely hear that at church.
So all those members just found new.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Whether it was just like attendance wasn't just what it was, what it used to be. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but it was a few years ago, and that lot remained empty, and it's been in construction for a while, and they built another homeless shelter there, and they went to court over it, actually.
They didn't want a homeless shelter.
We didn't want another homeless shelter into it, and it was very unfortunate that it was this one, that this was the one that kind of broke it, because it is a women and children's facility, and it's terrible, and a lot of the reasons are very sound for why this one should be there. But it's also those arguments are made by the people that are making, or whose bosses are the same, who have the bosses, and their bosses make the policies that raise the rent levels up to the part where these people now have to live in homeless shelters, and it's only for a year. Like after a year, they have to find somewhere else, and
That's another thing that we didn't really read in here was the homeless shelters or like that community.
Yeah.
Because that is a big deal in Crown Heights too, right?
There have been 2 lawsuits in the past couple of months. One in Bergen, more east, I want to say, by like Bergen and Brooklyn or something. There was one they opened. They lost that one, and then we lost the one today. That was so they're both going to be open.
Communities are also really suspect of new hotels coming up in neighborhoods. I remember a town board meeting, because many times hotels are used for homeless, to shelter homeless people too. And so I remember hearing this big inquisition of this new hotel or something. Will you have homeless people in your hotel? So it's I think and the argument always is not that there's a homeless shelter or there's services for, but it's just getting to be so many, like in one neighborhood. And that's what I didn't realize was that these aren't angry community members. They just don't want the downtrodden right next to them, right? It's just there's a lot of them.
It is.
In one neighborhood.
I will say from my own experience, and I have had to ask my older brother and sister just to like double check and make sure I wasn't going crazy. But I was like, were there always this many people, like homeless people in the neighborhood? And they're like, no, that is a 100% a new thing. And it's a lot of. I see guys on Nostrand Avenues, like they're strung out. Like you see them hustling at the bodega, like early in the mornings, like cleaning, getting trash, and then later on you see them in the afternoon, and they are so happy, and they're in another world, and it's just like,
wow. Oh, that's strange because it creates such a weird dynamic in the neighborhood. Then it's like
people get like pushed out and evicted or whatever, or just like priced out and move out, and so then like you get this income equality, like this like income level up here of people who own or rent, and then homeless shelters, and that just continues like that divide. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to know where the Airbnbs are.
Yes, I've heard of landlords warehousing apartments and just renting them out through Airbnb, that they're supposed to be rent-stabilized apartments rented to people in the neighborhood, and instead they're not.
Commercial stuff in Brownsville, for example, a long time ago, they would be able to warehouse some of their property because they would be able to make on their properties that they were renting out enough so that the cost of warehousing the other property was covered. So they did very well. So, no reason why they shouldn't apply that to apartments.
One thing I was thinking about when I was reading this was particularly like the last couple of people, because they're kind of like the gentrifiers, the last two people. And it's like everyone who moves into a neighborhood, they kind of want to be the last person that moves into it, or the last new wave, you know? So, like, the gentrifiers move in and they say, but we want to stop at our wave of gentrification. And they don't want the gentrification to go farther because he talks about there's all these interesting writers, musicians, but then later on he thinks that the neighborhood's going to start becoming too gentrified and then it won't be cool anymore. And I think it's interesting how you move into a neighborhood, and I mean me, like I was like one of the first, I think, white people to move into my building in this like wave of gentrification. And now there's like so many more people moving in, and I feel like, well, I don't want to change the neighborhood, or like I want the neighborhood to stay similar, but I also want to be there. And there's some way in which I'm inherently going to change the neighborhood, but also want to stop it. And I think that's what he's talking about, where he says, you can tell the neighborhood's kind of eventually, like you get your Starbucks, right, and you get like it's totally changed past what it used to be.
But you get the outposts, those are really interesting things. You have these, and they call themselves outposts, you know, they're like, as if they're in Kenya somewhere in the middle or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And essentially, you have them, they're clustered there, and I'm always surprised how they are able to maintain themselves. But it's only a very short time for the lease is concerned, so maybe we'll see them folding and collapsing, whatever, depending on what the rate of change in the neighborhood.
We were listening to the excerpts about neighborhood change. How has neighborhood change affected you?
So I grew up in Brooklyn. I used to live on Dean and Franklin.
Put the mic.
I'm sorry. I used to live on Dean and Franklin in Brooklyn. I lived there all my life. So I had moved away from that place. I think I lived there until I was 16. So when my father passed away, maybe about 12 years ago, we went back through the neighborhood. And there was a sushi place across the street from our building. There was up the block where the Franklin Avenue shuttle was. I think they turned those warehouses into condos with solar panels on the roofs. There was a triangle on Bedford and Rogers with a statue on it, and when I lived there, it was a straight concrete, but now they have flowers around it and little gates. And I mean, I might be a large person, I might be intimidating, but I enjoy flowers. I enjoy plants. I enjoy green. So it would have been nice to have those things when I was growing up. And it's sad. It's almost a little bit hurtful. Like, why couldn't those things be provided previously? So, I mean, that's just my one story. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there was one narrator, a few of the narrators, there was some ambivalence, right, towards the change. Some people said they welcomed the change in services, other people lamented. Are there changes that you have welcomed in your community? You're nodding your head, so I'm going to send the mic to you.
I was in screen, but I actually
Okay. Where do you live? Oh, where? Okay. How long have you lived in Crown Heights? We're just making this a conversation. Huh?
Less than 1 year.
Less than 1 year. Okay. So what has your experience been with the neighborhood? Could you give them a mic? Yeah. I'm interested. What are your impressions? What brought you to Crown Heights?
Well, I'd been living in Manhattan, and I was curious to try a new neighborhood and someplace a little bit more community-oriented and quiet, more calm. When you're done with work, get away from the hustle and the bustle. I really actually did not know nearly. I knew very, very surface level the history of Crown Heights. I really did not know nearly the depth of information as I've learned over the past year, and certainly what I've learned tonight. Just the multitude of different experiences, different perspectives within each of the different communities that make up Crown Heights. I never knew that, like, as a fact, Crown Heights is the most rapidly changing neighborhood in New York City at the moment. So I think this is something, I'm here with my roommates tonight, and this is something we've talked about on a few occasions, and certainly tonight in our group discussion, that there's sort of this need to feel like you're being gentle and ginger with how you enter the neighborhood, and that you're embracing it, and you want to be friendly and and appreciative of the history and how difficult it might be for some people to let go of something that was precious to them, or an experience of a place that was precious to them.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Yes.
I grew up in Crown Heights, Nostrand and Crown, and very recently, at the beginning of March, a comic book store has opened up on Union and Nostrand. And growing up as a little nerd, I would have loved to have something like that very close to me. And while I'm distrustful of new businesses in the area, I do appreciate this particular one, not just because it fills a service for me, but because I do feel that the owner is sort of going about integrating himself into the neighborhood in a correct way.
How so?
He has children's classes on Saturdays. So he lets kids come in, and he teaches them some stuff about comics. There's always like kids coming into the store. He makes little Instagram videos with one of the kids from the junior high. So I feel like he's trying to make himself sort of like a fixture in the neighborhood, and is not just there trying to be there for a couple of years while he makes so much money, a little bit of money, so he can go open another shop somewhere else. I feel like he is trying to, by approaching the children in such a positive way, it makes me want to spend my money there and get to know him and keep that neighborhood institution.
Okay, thank you.